Hello. Just want to say I lost the lottery again. I I get scratch cards because I feel that the big lottery, although the prize on the big lottery might be 10 or £100 million or something awesome like that, the odds of winning it are so tiny that to me it doesn't feel like it's worth doing it. But a scratch card for £1 has a small chance also of winning £100,000, which would be enough. I've won £10 many times. In fact, I'm probably actually slightly ahead on what I've spent, or close to it anyway, lately. But what about doing the lottery? Is it sensible? I mean, when the odds are like 14 million to 1 or worse of actually winning the big prize, you can win a few pounds, but then of course you spend more buying tickets. That's the idea, obviously. Some people say that doing the lottery is like it's a tax on people who are bad at statistics. And they have a point. If my odds of winning are, as on the English National Lottery, 14 million or so to 1, maybe it's changed a bit, it's worse now I think, something like 16 million to 1, it's ridiculous. But on the other hand, you've got to be in it to win it. If you don't do it at all, the odds are 0. Or you might get a drink from some friend if they win, of course. Big deal. Now, there is, though, the Black Swan effect. There are certain events which are low odds, but if they happen, they make a big difference. And if you don't take them into account, either negatively or positively, you can lose out. It won't happen often, but it does happen, because life is like that. Life is chaotic. So, for example, a Black Swan event was the Japanese tsunami, the biggest for, 100 years or more, and it wiped out the nuclear power station in Fukushima. The reason it did that is because the engineers and the designers, or probably the people with the money actually, had decided they would build a wall around it to keep out tidal waves, because they knew that the tsunamis happen every now and then. But they looked at the odds and they figured that the odds of the 1 in 100 years one happening were too small. So they didn't build the wall high enough to allow for that. And then it happened, and the reactor meltdown occurred, and Japan is irradiated, and thousands and thousands and thousands of people have had to move out of a whole region of the country. And it's going to take them a generation or more to rebuild Japan anyway, because of the destruction caused by the tsunami. And they were in an economic depression in the first place. This may help their building industry, I suppose. But they could have done without the nuclear reactor going up. And if they had taken account of the low odds event, they could have avoided it. If the wall had been twice as high, it would have blocked the tidal wave, and it should have been. And a Black Swan event can happen the other way round. I could win a modest prize on the lottery, say 10, £100,000, something like that, maybe. And provided it doesn't cost me a load of money, if I'm spending like 50 quid a week on tickets, well, that would be a waste of money, I think. But the odd pound here and there is worth taking into account. I can provoke maybe a little Black Swan event in my favour, maybe. So I think it's kind of worth doing it, provided I'm not impoverishing myself by spending too much on it. What do you think? Is this the right approach, or are you strictly statistically biased and say, no, the stats are against you, don't do it? What do you say to people who say, yeah, but if you're not in it, you won't win it? the only way to do it is to do it. What's the answer? I think doing the lottery occasionally is the answer for me. Okay, I'll save money instead, or mostly, and a little bit goes on maybe provoking some random event in my favour. In fact, it turns out this is many British people's plan for getting out of the rat race and the poverty trap and all the rest of it. Their only plan is to win the lottery, because the odds of doing it through hard work are better, but it's hard work. And our TV programmes are full of things like Antiques Roadshow, where people find objects in their attics and take it along to be valued, and every now and then you get somebody who finds something which is really valuable, like tens of thousands of pounds or something, and you think, whoa, all there is in my attic is dust and a few insects, you know. C'est la vie. Is your plan for an independent financial future to win the lottery? Mine isn't, but it wouldn't hurt. You know, if I won a high five-figure sum, 50 grand or more, I think that would be enough to make a significant difference, I think, for me. Because I could move to some cheap country with that, buy somewhere to live, and maybe live on the cheap, with the cheap prices, with my cheap £12 a month income from YouTube. I don't have to go somewhere really cheap for that. but oops, I'm not allowed to tell you how much I earn on YouTube, but that's only an approximation. So there you go. That's contractual requirement, apparently. If you want to know how much someone earns on YouTube, you can go to Social Blade and you'll get a rough estimate. People earn about £1 per 1,000 views, $1 per 1,000 views per month, at the lower end anyway. I think once you get higher up, it doesn't appear to be so much, and you have to leverage it in other ways, like sponsorship and things like that. But anyway, I'm nowhere near that yet. Okay, well, what do you think about doing the lottery? Is it sensible? Or is it not? Is it a waste of money? Bye for now.